If you guys haven't logged into Gwent in a little while, you're going to want to log in this week. There's an event going on where just by logging in and playing and winning games, you're able to get sparkly rocks that you can trade in for cosmetics. There's a lot of really cool cosmetics. Some of them I haven't seen before. There's a sick new monsters one as well. I'm not going to spoil it. You got to see it for yourself. So check out the shop. And yeah, we're going back to Invigorate. I'm looking at getting my Invigorate mastery. I haven't been able to play in a few weeks, and I made some modifications to the deck since my last stream, and I want to talk about them with you guys here. I have a few games of live commentary for afterwards, so stick around for that. But I'll show you the deck now, and one of the problems that Handbuff has is the lack of tempo. So I really wanted to make it a tempo frenzy with this one here, and because Ithlin got a buff from 10 to 9 provisions, it got the wheels turning. Aglaeus as well, 9 provisions. You see things are starting to come together. Back these used to be 10. And so now we can do a lot with Golden Necker in Handbuff, which helps increase the tempo. And it's another way to play Handbuff that's not Renfree, because right now that seems like the only viable way to do it. But after watching this video, hopefully you consider this to be viable as well. So we'll go through it here. Golden Necker, deploy if your starting deck does not have cards with a provision cost of 10 or more. Play the top unit, special, and artifact from your deck. Siri Nova and Golden Necker are excluded from the condition. So that's just in case someone wants to go ahead and nerf Siri. I don't think you need to nerf Siri. She's fine exactly where she is, and she's one pellet away from being a very sad card. So don't stress about that one too much. Now, we want to make sure we're going to get Golden Necker, because if I don't get Golden Necker, then the deck isn't really where it's supposed to be, right? So I have other consistency tools here. I have Royal Decree to help take out units from the deck that we need early game to get good buff payoffs, like either the Dunka or one of the Hawker Smugglers, or in the event that I miss one of the unicorns, I can go pull into it and trigger the one that's in my hand and get that combination going. So between Royal Decree, the Unicorn, and the Chironex, and then of course Nicker's naturally thinning from deck, I feel like that's enough consistency so that we're going to be getting Golden Necker. If you're paranoid and you really gotta have an extra card for consistency, you can consider dumping Hengate Sword for Triss Butterflies, or you can consider adding Mata instead, or you can just go as far as putting Maxi in a 5 provision slot and taking out something in this range. It's up to you entirely. I don't think something as simple as that's going to change the dynamic of the deck too much, but this is how I enjoy playing it. So we have Decree, like I said, to get what's important. Hengate Sword made the cut because sometimes we're thinning out too much. Sometimes I want to have something that's control heavy, but can also generate points in the late game. What happens if I try to bleed into a round 2 and spend everything including the torque? We're going to run out of steam. So I have Hengate Sword going into a round 3. Maybe we get a really good 5 points. We hit one of their engines. We bring out one of their engines from the previous round, and we get a win con off a Hengate Sword. Whatever, right? So this feels like a good alternative in this case to something like the Teshem. You could go and play Serpent Trap. Fine, that's another good removal option we have. But it had to be something of these 3, I felt, because we're missing something. I thought about Curse of Corruption. I feel like it's going to be a little scary to pull off in a deck that goes so tall, so I decided not to do it. Again, we talked about Ithlin. I have Unicorn, boost an ally unit by 3. We can use this to keep either Dunka, a Smuggler, a Sorceress. One of the cards is going to help us generate points throughout a long round alive. Generally, I'm only taking a 3 buff, and I'm looking to use damage for 6. Chironex is really good at cleaning up engines, especially those with like uncapped ceilings. So anything you see that looks dangerous, you know it's the one. Take Chironex, remove it before it becomes too much. And all the better, we can extend our reach and almost become a tall punish off the Chironex with the Dunka lead. Or if we have a Sorceress at Opalthenis sitting on the board, we could use that, maybe get another Circle of Life or Nature's Rebuke and get some extra damage reach. I thought about having skirmishers to help with this. I just didn't feel like it was worth committing to. With Golden Necker decks, you kind of want to stay away from polarizing them too much, so I have to be very choosy about what 4 provision cards I put in, and I feel like the Peller helps me get around the defender so I can hit the appropriate target, or helps me purify something that's going to put out a lot of points for me. whereas the skirmishers might not always have that same impact I'm looking for. So there's that whole idea. Now, Aglaeus, trust me on this one, 9 provision, absolutely correct in this case. Deploy at the end of this turn, double the amount of boost on self. So we have a whole game, if we're lucky, of getting things like Ithleen, leader charges, torque boosts onto Aglaeus. We have the Circle of Lives. We have whatever we create off the Sorceress. We have the Bountiful Harvest. We have all the pings from Dunka and Hawker Smugglers, you name it. Worst case scenario, Aglaeus sitting at 4 points going into round 3, short round. Maybe we get 1 leader charge off on her. She's only boosting by 2. We've got Vile and we've got Thunderbolt to help save the day. And trust me, Thunderbolt reminds me of OG Gwent, and it actually makes a lot of sense in a deck like this. You use the first charge of the Thunderbolt to go on something like a Hawker or a Dunka. Sure, that's great. It feels pretty good. Even if you have to float it naked, whatever. It's not the end of the world. But the order, boost by 3, so we're getting the 3, which turns into 6 off of Aglaeus. Then we pop on the Vial of Forbidden Knowledge onto her as well. You see it just like skyrockets to 20 points. So you can imagine, in the worst case scenario, Aglaeus could play for 20 points. The very, very worst, like 12, 13, like it's not terrible. Best case scenario, she's playing for 40, 50 points, and your opponent's not even letting you finish the turn. So trust me on this one. She's doing what she's got to do when she's got to do it. She's amazing in this deck. Farseer, again, a really, really good playmaker, sets up a ton of points. In a perfect case scenario, you have a handful of units, which is tougher to do with a deck that only has 16 units. Much easier to do with Renfrey, but I usually try to say, okay, listen, if I can boost, maybe 6 cards, 7 cards in my hand, that's fine. Farseer plays for far more than his provisions, even when we're doing that. So you don't have to worry too much. You got to be careful when doing this. It's very easy to misplay this and ruin the whole game, okay? So you want to boost an unboosted unit in your hand by the number of boosted units in your hand. So you boost everything in your hand except for Torque and except for the Farseer, and then you take the Farseer, play it, and then use it on the Torque. And then the Torque's going to take whatever you put on that and pump it onto something else, because that's what he does. So if played correctly, you're taking an 8-point boost on the Torque. Torque puts 8 onto something else. Let's say it's Aglaeus, all the better. Okay? Then she's doubling that. It just stonks, right? It's going crazy. So, that's just how you play it properly. Circle of Life in at 4 provisions. It's a lot better than what it used to be at 5 provisions. So I feel like in this deck, it has merit. It helps with removal reach. It's got some good carryover potential. You don't feel guilty spending it. And it's just nice to have. So that's what I'm sitting with right now. Some considerations. You could go Crystal Skull. I don't think we need to. You could go Skaggs. I don't think we need to. When I'm comparing Skaggs, if I can find them, to Aglaeus, I just feel like Aglaeus has a much easier point potential, because if we draw Skaggs going into round 3, Skaggs is very difficult to make worth a lot of points, right? Damage an enemy unit by the boost, he's boosted. So if he's only boosted 2, it's playing 8 for 8, and I feel like a lot of bronzes can do that. So I just feel like less risk, more reward in this one here. If I was playing Renfrey or something else where I can afford to put more units, then I might opt for something like Skaggs. But he doesn't make the cut in this one, so maybe a provision buff is in order, guys. Maybe we should put him, at 7. And I think that would be really cool. I don't think it would do anything detrimental, but it would definitely help. But that's pretty much it. Apologies for not being able to post in the last few weeks. Appreciate everyone for sticking around, and those who knew I was going to come back. I wanted to touch base on this because I'm a few games away from mastery. I wanted to warm up this season with something I've sort of played or gotten used to a little bit. We're 100% with this so far. I know we just made it at a rank 7, but it's nice to be able to not lose with a sweet deck like this. So next video, if you guys have any recommendations for factions you want me to play, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see what I can brew later this week. Let's get into the gameplay. Alright, first up here we got Monsters Blood Scent. And I just got the warm-up game out of the way. I played terribly, but I did win. Hard. So, let's start recording. Let's tidy up the plays, and let's get it done properly. Not a bad hand to start. Probably going to be mulliganing next to nothing. Maybe Unicorn. That's not bad. Aglaeus here would be really good, and I think it's almost worth trying for. That's decent. So we want to go tall. I don't necessarily want to go too wide, because the more bleeding they get, the worse it is for me. Now, Crystal Skull would be nice in this matchup, but it's not every day we're playing against vampires, so keep that one in mind. Now, we got to boost Torque by the amount of, because Farseer is better to just be putting one big boost on the Torque, so we'll do it that way. Again, unfortunate we don't have Aglaeus in hand. I already know my targets here. It's probably going to be something to this effect, okay? You could use 2. I don't think I'm want to use 2 leader charges here. 4, 8 is just more than enough. I think it plays for the provisions. If I had more of a unit-bound hand, I'd opt for the second leader charge. Let's say maybe only 2 or 3 specials. It works a lot better in a Renfrey version than it does in Golden Necker. Neckarad is just unbelievable. Leave that unchecked, it's GG's. What I'll likely try to do here, that's great. It's like the one matchup I don't want him to come out of the deck. What I'll probably do is go in with Circle of Life, and then I might even follow that up with a Thunderbolt, even though I normally reserve this for the Aglaeus play later on. I think it's more than fine to use it if it means playing less units. There's also the consideration of just taking out the Fletter right away, but it comes at the expense of a hand buff. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I just know that if we go long, this gets too tall and I automatically lose the round. Otherwise, I have a chance. So we get the boost off it, whatever. Yeah, I think we're going to be alright. I'm not sure if we ever actually are supposed to play into a long round 1 against bleeding. It's exactly what they want, then they get that short round. And if they have any control too, they're taking out my high units, so we gotta be careful. I'd rather them try to bleed us and not get card back somehow, go into round 3 with a protected point set. So whether it's the Torque or we somehow get the Aglaeus, get it buffed up, that's fine. And if we go into round 2, up a card, we can somehow get Ciri down, all the better. It's very slow. Yeah, that's it to me. We just get out of the round alive. So they go Rune Mage, which tells me it's likely going to be Renfrey, which tells me they're going to push hard. Okay? So we got to prepare for that. You roll monsters of all things. I feel like they're fishing for another Flutter because they probably have a couple Incubus. They just want to bring them back. Devotion does not just... It dies. Listen. Haven't been playing much lately. Rank 7. These things happen. Random leader. Oh no. Random 2 liters. I'm just trying to make a deck guide. If they pass, no! Listen, today we're just playing games. Whatever happens, unhinged, unedited. Poor guy. So, round tie, we're a card up. It's exactly what I want. I don't know how valuable Sword's going to be right now, but if they had another Neckarat, it's actually very good. I want more specials. This feels a little bit slow to carry into. This is worth maximum 9 points. It does avoid bleeding. It helps pad thing. You know, we're just going to keep. It's like I got a free card anyways. The leader 2, that really hurts. I missed a lot of good stuff though. I gotta somehow play this and pull this. Golden Necker plays, let's say, 1. I mean, that would be kind of nice, but... Alright. Why you didn't use the leader charge there, of all things, I don't understand. I never will. But we take advantage of that. It's like a 20-point Hengate sword right there, honestly. That's one of the issues that I'm finding with Handbuff, is that if we have something in around 5 power, we can remove that. But once you start getting above that, it's tough. And even at 5, sometimes we have the Circle of Life, which is 3, and then I don't really have a lot of ping stuff. Sometimes off the Sorceress or whatever the case, we could same turn it. It's not all the time. Alright. I don't really care where the points go at this point as long as they're used. So, I want to get the Smuggler tall enough to make an impact. Alright? Let's get this going. And if they're one of the few people that has a Drowner, that's gonna suck. Possible. No, okay. It's 3. You know what I could do? I can let them give it 2 or 3 more, because I feel like they're gonna go and try to kill this in the long round. So I'll just boost it once, and then we'll purify it. Rather Peller have 5 than 2. Okay. The only thing I could think they're setting up for here is Oriana. The thing is, if I take Peller, then they just go use the last leader on Peller. So it's better that they trade down here. But that goes for anything that we've got.
Lost spirit devoid of name, depart now our veil of pain.
I still think we're better just... We'll take the Purify. I'm not going to do anything with this. Let it die. It's not helping me. The Regis is going to slap. It's going to be a lot of points. Oh. My old version had Dorregaray, and boy, do I wish I still had it. There's nothing I can do. The only thing we can do here is fish and pray. If I can get 7, let me float that and try to get it ready to do damage. And then I'll pull Golden Necker or Harvest and go from there. I think that's the move. Mind you, it's not Devotion. It's just regular Unseen Elder, but this whole assembly line of 1, 2, and 3, it's going to make a big impact towards the late game here. Now I have to decide which one's more important to kill. It's still probably Unseen Elder. There are only so many turns left in the game and only so many things that can get bleeding, but we have a lot more units to play. I'm really holding back, and we're almost out of time. We're actually down about 20 points. And with Renfrey's gang, and then Regis, it's going to make a big impact. I don't even know if we're going to keep up with this properly. So let's see what we got. It's not good. I could just turn this off by putting it in the other row and giving it 4 bleeding. I think I'm killing things. I honestly think we're supposed to kill things. Nice. Better than nothing. I'm gonna rope. That'll just be put on the board and not used. Good. They should really consider using that leader. Let's see if I can roll unboosted by boosted. This does nothing. Damage 2 is probably my best. Running out of options here. A move elf would have been crazy. And then this coming turn, we're going to use the vial on whichever. So Renfrey's gang, Renfrey last say. I think we do better against Renfrey than Regis here. Let's get rid of something that has a lot of bleeding. And
when the white frost comes, do not eat the yellow snow.
One of my cards is not going to get that full value. I think this is still winnable, guys. All the bleeding stuff's pretty much up. We're down by 24 points. Okay. Listen, I'm not crazy at math. But, I'm just going to let it play out and do it that way. Let's see. We just win? Oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. And we got game number 2 coming up against Beef Legend, Rage at Sea. Rio Hand starts in Grave. They go wide damage, we go tall. I think we're favored. The only thing is that I can't stop anything. I always considered Curse of Corruption in something like this, but I feel like it would be a double-edged sword, so we're not going to do that. We just got to be careful. And let's see. Last game, I put away one of the unicorns, and I never got the pair. I think I'm going to hold on. Peller can probably go. Siri's good to see early. I want more units here in round 1. I think it's going to be just a bit better for me. Yeah. So we're going to go double leader on this, guys. This is what I want to do. Almost click Torque, that almost threw. We don't click Torque here, okay? Got 1. 2, 3. It doesn't matter if Farseer is clicked because we're playing it. So I actually think it's better to use like a Glaeus or something like that. And then we'll just go for this play. And look at that. Huge 7 boost. 14 plus the 5, 6 provision. Now you might say, why don't I have 2 of them? Well, because 2 is greedy, man. 2 never works. Just another operator player. Listen, I'm not too worried because we have Siri to help us if they push to a point where I can't get out of it. So.
Got business for me?
We got to go into a short round 3. So it's not Necker Rain, it's full-blown rain with Melusine, the whole greedy 9 yards. There's nothing I can do about it. We just watch it happen. Cool, 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 cool. Why am I stacking? I guess it's better than giving them 2 rows. Okay, Melusine, Fulmar, Operator, they're coming out. For sure. So, we do what we gotta do with what we have, and we look for an escape plan here.
Of the sword and axe.
Hopefully Doc can take a hit here for the team, and... Jeez. If they could play another messenger, I'm feeling fairly good. That's interesting. Just keep healing itself. I don't think there's a world where I'm able to recover from this here. If I play, they pass, I auto-lose. So now I have to pass. But now they got to worry about resurrecting the play, purifying the Melusine to go into a short round 3. I've already got a 20-point torque here. Series worth 22. You know what I mean? We're doing all right. Actually, sword could be very good. Because if they have to start off by playing Messenger from pocket, it's going to hurt. I don't think I want Circle of Life. Vile is maybe because we have Thunderbolt. I could play Vile to just bait out stuff. Not play units for a bit. Sure. This will be alright. Would have been nice, though, if I had Decree. Greg Bondu, interesting choice. What did you put? I missed it. The second one. So they're going to do probably a tier play. Cool. I think that's my move. Do I have a Bronze Warrior, imagine? It just has to go. Because they'll play the whole round focusing on that play, and then at least just bring it back for the 12. Siri's got to come down here next. If they keep pushing past that, we play Dunka. I wonder if they ever squirrel that out of fear. It's not really a squirrelable thing. Like, maybe, yeah, it's 10 points later, but could be worse. So second Oniro could hurt them. Vakusha going into what now? Mellow? So they know. Man, if I had a card that gave Doom right now. They have a pass on this, though. Listen, they're going for the 2-0. I'm not going to let them bait me out of my best cards now. That's part of their game plan. Okay. Is there any way to avoid... I don't want to play on melee, but I have to. Just before it gets bad for me, I'm just going to do that. Oh, perfect. At least the one that comes next turn for the dunk is going to hit the armor. Here comes the real hand. Watch. I wonder if they have restore, the way they're clicking Melusine like that.
Bow before modern Freya.
Nope.
The sea demands a price.
This looks like I have to roll Golden Necker here and try to get 1 or 1, because we got to be able to hit that for 6. It's game changing. Nice. They've already done Fulmar, so I'm not too worried. I'm going to put this so they can't reset. And we're going to keep that there. And then we're going to... Jeez. Just in case we can play around Storm a little bit, or should I just focus on Symmetry? Yeah, no. This is, yeah, I just feel like Storm is coming. I'm good. It wasn't exactly a high roll, man. I knew it could only be so many things. Because we had like a 25% chance on 2 things. So, I don't know. Overall, it felt pretty good. Here.
Special price, just for you, love.
The real hand play for them is probably worth, if I had to count, like 10. And then 1. Okay. So, yeah, like 25 points. It's plus whatever he, you know, plays for. Yeah, it's going to be big, but it's not enough to win.
May Modron Freya watch us and keep us.
I almost feel like I'm supposed to do this now. Maybe we just do this.
Scoia'Tael and Dorregaray.
3, 6. I think I finally use this. Just because I want to save Vile and Aglaeus. Lock and reset. Okay. This is not enough yet, so we have to.
Drink this, you'll feel better.
Bet you're gonna wish you saved it. You knew it was coming. So I preserve what's important to me, I think. Unless they just have random tall punish, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I came out of the whole situation better than them. I could be wrong. If they have tier, it's worth a lot, but Torque's carrying. And Ciri carryover, untouched, 8. It's pretty nuts. This goes back. Yeah, it's GG's. It's over. Do I ever take Hawker? Nope.
Illusions. You've yet to see what they can accomplish.
We gotta split them up so rain becomes the sacrifice for them, you know? I have no way to boost it up, so it's a really good slash. Let's go proactivity here. Nice. I'm gonna have to really consider how we want to sequence this. I really want to get value from the sword. Shoot. If they could somehow get rid of this, I'm screwed. At least to get the harmony proc. Yeah, okay. Here I'm stressing for no reason. And we got the first Scoia matchup in a minute. Let's go. Deadeyes. They get overwhelming quick. They have a lot of control. We got to be careful, but if we could somehow keep the coin in our favor, have that last say, I think we're good. It's just about getting there, you know? So we might have to piggyback the Doblathana play. This is actually very good for killing off a Deadeye and losing value on a lot of their cards. I'm just saying. I'm going to put back one of these. Double is greedy. Okay, you know what? Fine. Same hand we started with. Alright, so we gotta come in aggro here. A little bit. And number 2. 1, 2, 3. We got to make sure this lives. Same with Siri. So we'll go out and we'll play Buddy real quick. We get the big +6. Good enough for me. And then we'll just take Dunka. Sure. These don't look half bad when you get them boosted up from 3 to 11 in the first, second turn of the game. So this is a bit more experimental. It might not be waylay junk that we've seen. It's just good old elves. You have to have the perfect hand to get this like that. Holy. You gotta love it. Right now, she's actually worth less than he is.
Nigh is the time of the white frost and white light.
Okay, good. I want to spread it around a little bit. I think soon I just take Siri and pass. Whenever you play, boost lowest. They're setting up for something long. You're not playing a lot of artifacts if you have that many boosts. I wonder. I think I'm just gonna go for this, man. Just kind of see where that takes me. Even better. I don't think it's worth passing just yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there for sure. Puts them at a tie on a pass. It means they have to play 2, go into a long round 3. I don't like it. Stay in for a little longer. I think what I'll end up doing is playing the 12, converting that, and then just getting out and keeping all this. And if I have to go in a little bit more, then we'll just take this and then we'll take the harvest. That's could be worse.
You'll regret your mum ever squirted you out.
Puts me up by tie. Well played. Kind of ruining the flow here.
I could drown
Mind you, I do have Siri.
you dry.
The times of white frost and white light.
That's kind of scary for you, because now if I roll a circle, I'm taking that. No good here. This is actually very good, or fairly good. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna go for a harvest and look for one of these myself. I've committed too much to go and take another circle, so I'm gonna take a backup plan. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, whatever. So it lives.
See who is weak.
That's my pass.
Striking where it hurts.
Yeah, normally you could consider throwing down the unicorn, but I actually don't think it's worth it here. Wait, why would you have to use that? Unless the cards in their hand were just not worth a lot. 4 points. You actually would have gotten it by 1 if you didn't do that. So now they have to play in, otherwise they lose the value. Aglaeus is not looking too sharp here. It's probably worth dumping. I want Golden Necker so bad that I think we just keep... There we go. Skill. It's going to be lowest kill. Maybe it's Serpent. It's probably incinerating when I play this, whatever. If that's the case, it's worth it.
Spit it out already.
It doesn't
I don't
temple
have
them at
all
all.
day.
Special kill the highest. That's got to be the case. I'm trying not to use leader in this round, by the way, if you haven't noticed. I think we kill the 8. Oh, so it's not. Golden Necker for thinning, I guess.
Fine. If my coin's ranked to you, go kiss a dog picked it.
And yes, all the value in the world.
Got business for me?
Sure. So this is looking like a win, guys. Yeah, it's been fun. We keep card. We get the pair. They're evenly distributed at 10. That's 29 point play plus a draw. Aglaeus is sad. Actually, no, she's kind of cracked now. Think about it. I'm going to keep that. Do I want to keep, or do I just go for something better? 5 points of control. I already have this. Careful what you wish for. That's a shame. Should have just, was really hoping for this here. To kill this because it's going to be worth about 9 points when it's all said and done. Wow, this is really losing points for me. Whatever. I'm getting the extra card. Imagine Igni. Let's not get near 25. Just in case, because one more card could do it, you know? The thing is, if they play Scenario and then they play Curse, it's actually a lot closer than it should be. They have a Waylay coming off this, plus whatever else they have. I'm convinced that they're not running the Waylays because they didn't really set up for it. Destroy 2. Destroy and 2. It's like 10 point. Could be better. They're going to go Wide Swarm payoff now. Could be worse. Could be better. Yeah, so I think Aglaeus could die here. And then Torque could just win it. It's kind of late for you. I don't know, man. Something about going tall under any circumstance is kind of scary. But if they stop play 22, okay. Wasn't that close. Mind you, our draws in round 3 were terrible.